Greetings everyone, greetings to all the devoted friends and fans of Eurofly 3 and especially to all the devoted listeners of its series of basic tutorials. Welcome to part 16, we are almost at the end and today we're gonna discuss a topic that is also really important for Eurofly 3 and that is the music that can be playing while in flight or in the map exploration mode, and that obviously you can customize to your heart's content. So let's go into manual exploration, free world map exploration.
Eurofly 3 window.
And we can already...
Bratislava 1. Stare Mesto. Bratislava. Slovakia.
And we can already hear some music playing. The default one that you may recognize from the earlier part of the series. So let's talk about what kinds of music we can listen to, or what are the possible sources of music to listen to. There are essentially three of them. Either we can be listening to a radio station, which is an online stream from the internet, or we can be listening to an MP3 or basically any other sound file in any format, a custom file that is stored locally on our computer at our hard drive. Or we can enable or activate one of the sound schemes and we can create our own. A sound scheme, or rather a music scheme, is a collection, so to speak. It can be combined. It can consist of both music files and radio stations, the online streams. But the important thing, or the important distinction between enabling a scheme and just activating one particular track to play all the time, is that the scheme plays music, different music or different radio stations, depending on where we currently are on the map, where we're actually located. So if we want to achieve the effect where the music changes dynamically by itself as you change your location in the map, enabling a music scheme is the way to go in that case. If you just want to listen to some particular track or radio station, but you're okay with it not changing as you change your location on the map, you just activate a custom track or radio station. So this is always important to realize. It's also important to mention that if you want to be playing the online radios, these are obviously streamed from the internet, like I was saying, so you need to be actually connected. You need to be online for that feature to work. If you want to listen to custom music, it has to be saved in a folder that is designed for that, which can either be the folder called Countries in the main Eurofly 3 folder, or the folder with same name but under your user's data subfolder. That can either be located also in the main Eurofly 3 folder if you're using the portable version, or it can be located somewhere else by default in your documents if you're using the installed version. I personally recommend using the countries folder in the user's data subfolder for the reason that should you ever decide to delete the entire main program folder, your custom user data, including any profiles, any translations you may have made to the objects on the map, and also any custom music schemes are going to be preserved the next time you install the program or put it in a different main folder than where it was before, etc. But your user's data folder is still intact and it still contains all the files it did before. So the countries folder in the main program folder is meant only to contain or to store the default music files supplied with the program that the default built-in scheme uses. So first, let's discuss how to change just the currently playing music without making any changes to the scheme itself. We use the keystroke Alt-Z for that. Well, Z is, again, in the English keyboard layout, could be Alt-Y in other keyboard layouts.
Sound schemes combo box default music only collapsed.
And this opens a simple window where we can choose either a scheme to play or a particular track to play or a particular radio station to play. If I now press Shift Tab,
Now playing scheme edit default music only /0 default.og.
we can find out what's currently playing. So we've learned that it is the
Default music only /
default music only scheme slash, meaning from that scheme,
0 dash
we are currently
Default.
hearing the track 0 dash
Ogg.
default
Blank.
.ogg. Schemes can contain either music files or radio stations, as I was saying before, but this one, the default one supplied with the program, only contains music files, so that's why it's called music only. Now if we press tab,
Sound schemes combo box default music only collapsed.
we can hear there's a list of sound schemes. We can just select the one we need. If we had created more, if we had created any custom schemes of our own, they would be visible here in this list.
Sound files combo box 0 default.og collapsed.
Or he can choose the file to play the particular file when I pressed tab one more time. This checks or scans both the main program folder as well as your countries folder in your users data at once, so that you don't have to worry about that, or you don't need to manually select the folder that you want to use in any way or anything like that. And we can see all the files that are currently available to play here from both these folders. Currently, this is the default music,
0ocean.og.
or rather the sound that plays while you're flying over a sea. We can select a lot of them here.
A blues, Afghan, Africa, Arab, Bangladesh, Bulgaria, Cuba, Czech, Egypt, Ethiopia, Fiji.og.
You can see that, so let's, for example, press enter on Fiji.
Eurofly 3 window.
So I've just pressed enter, we can already hear that it started playing. And I'm now going to move on the map,
100 kilometers.
say to oh, I don't have
Stalzenhofen. Lowest level.
I don't have the location changes set.
Nishov, Klingallard, Maria Law, Finstering, Maria Law.
We can see
Austria.
that even though we've moved to Austria, the music has not changed. It ignores our current map location. Since we've selected just that particular track to play, it will always play no matter how
Nish
and where
Stalzenhofen, Einstetten.
we move
Level 2.
to the on the map.
Slovakia.
Now I've moved back to Slovakia,
Slovakia selected.
but the music is still the same. Now let's press Alt Z or Alt Y again,
Sound schemes combo box default.
Shift Tab.
Now playing file edit Fiji.og.
We can see that it's playing the file Fiji.ogg regardless of the scheme that it originally comes from. We've just selected this file to play for all the locations.
Sound schemes combo box. Sound files combo box Fiji.og collapsed.
Now if I press tab one more time after the sound files list,
Stations in country Slovakia 159. Combo
there's
box
the
Best FM collapsed.
stations, radio stations, that we could choose any one of them, but only for the Slovakia country. The radio list, this list, is always being filtered based on which country we are currently in. If I press tab one more time,
Filter edit blank.
there's the filter edit field, but this one only filters from that previous list. So even if the radios are already filtered to just contain the stations that are available in the country where we're currently physically located,
Stations in country Slovakia 159. Combo box.
there's still 159 of them. That's a lot. So we could filter even that to narrow the search down to just the one that we're looking for. Or we can press tab another time,
Enter station name edit blank.
and we can actually set search for a station here from any country, regardless of where we currently are. We can just enter the name of the station, of the particular station that we may know and like and that we are interested in. So let me do my favorite one. I just typed part of its name and press enter.
Search results for beat combo box bigcitybeats.fm by Rod.
After typing the part of its name, and there's the filter results or search results.
1.fm, bigcitybeats.fm, 1.fm, 100, r.sa, DOS Beetle, r.sa, Roddy Caprice, Radio Beat Milano, Radio Beat, Radio Beat, Radio Beat, Radio Beat, Radio Beat, Radio Beat Milano, Radio Beat.
I hope.
Eurofly 3 window.
Yes, this is the one that I wanted. This is the Czech station called Radio Beat, but there's currently... I'm going to choose another one because there's currently some listeners talking.
Sound schemes, stations, filter edit blank, enter station name edit blank. Search results for rock combo box rock content alternative, MP3, number RD mix classic rock 70s 80, 101.9 rock. Eurofly 3 window.
This one is not playing because the stream...
The stream you were trying to access is not available at this time.
Well, it even told us. Thank you very much.
Now play sound schemes combo, sound files combo, stations in country Slovakia, 150, filter edit, enter station name edit, blank, blank.
The stream you were trying to access is not available at this time.
Search results for Blanik combo box radio Blanik collapsed.
This is another one. Okay, this is a Czech station, another one that I know. I was about to say this one should work and it should play music, which I'm glad that I was proven right that it does. And again, if I'm going to move on the map, the radio is just not going to change.
Ukraine selected.
No matter what.
Ukraine. Level 2. Ukraine. Germany.
It still plays the same. We can press Alt Z or Alt Y again.
Sound schemes combo box default.
Shift Tab.
Now playing station edit radio Blanik.
To see what is currently playing, if I now press
sound files combo box 0 default stations in country Germany 4,465
we can
combo box
already
collapsed.
This list is again filtering just the radios for the location where we currently are, which is Germany, so we could play any of the radios from Germany here.
Filter edit blank. Enter station name edit blank. Now playing station edit radio blank. Sound schemes combo box.
Let's activate the default scheme again, and you'll see that it's going to play the music for the country that we are in. It's going to start respecting that again since we're reactivating the music scheme. So we can see that we've activated the scheme, and the music that is associated with this country, which is currently Germany, has just started playing. Now if I'm going to move on the map, I'm in France, and the music does change as expected for the scheme. Let's talk about the other way that we can change the music on the fly, and that is by making small adjustments or small modifications to the currently active scheme that are saved. Eurofly 3 does contain a fully fledged music scheme editor that I'm going to demonstrate in a little while, but that is in the main settings menu, on the settings screen that we can access from within the main menu. But this is just going to be a tiny dialog window accessible from within the world map exploration or when during flight, that is just going to quickly change the music like for one country that we're currently in, while still respecting the rest of the scheme. We open that with Alt-X.
Select countries to edit music for combo box. France collapsed.
We see that it's a different dialogue. It says select countries to edit music for
French Guyana, French Polynesia, French Southern and Antarctic Territories, Guadeloupe, Guyana, Haiti, Martinique, Reunion, Wallis and Futuna.
We see that it's associated, when I was pressing the down arrow key, that it's associated with several different countries. Most of them are
French Guyana, French Polynesia,
French territories,
French Southern and Antarctic Territories.
We can change the music for all of these at once if we wanted to, but that's what the scheme editor is better suited for. The idea of this simple window is to just quickly change the music for just one country in most cases. When I move back to the top of the list, we can hear
France.
The France is ticked. It plays this little sound, whereas the other countries don't. So if I wanted to
French Guyana,
change the music
French Polynesia,
also for Polynesia, let's say. At once, for both France and Polynesia, I could just press spacebar on Polynesia here to check it too, to be making the modification to both of these countries at once.
France, French Guyana,
We can see
French Polynesia,
that the two are checked
French Southern and Antarctic Territories,
because they play the sound,
Guadeloupe,
whereas the others aren't.
French Polynesia,
But let's
French Polynesia,
uncheck it,
France,
because I want to be changing the music only for France at this point.
sound files combo box France.org collapsed,
We can change the sound file here.
stations in country France, 2206,
Or we could choose a radio station to play only in France.
filter edit blank, enter station name edit
We
blank,
can filter the stations here, or we can search for stations even outside France, as I was showing before. It works exactly in the same
now playing
way,
scheme edit default music,
and we can see
Select country.
what's playing now. So let's say
French Guyana, French Guadeloupe, sound Germany, Ghana, Ethiopia, Fiji.org,
and I'm
Eurofly.
going to select the Fiji music for France in the same way that I was doing before. Now if I move
Germany.
back to Germany, you see that the music still changes back to the music that's assigned to Germany as it is supposed to, but so it still respects the rest of the scheme. Now I'm
Czech
in the
Republic.
Czech Republic, but if I get back to France,
France,
it now plays the Fiji music that we changed before, that we associated with France before. It no longer plays the default music for France as specified in the scheme. Let's press Alt X again
select countries to edit,
to
stations in country,
select, for instance,
filter edit blank,
a radio station.
stations, Islam call, 101.3 French FM,
Let's try French FM.
Eurofly 3 window,
This radio works, fortunately, thank God. So now we've assigned this radio station to always play while we're in France. If I move around the map again, we're in Germany, we're in the Czech Republic, the music changes as expected, and now if I come back to France, it plays the radio just like it should, because that's what we set it to. So let's now leave the world map exploration mode. World
Eurofly
map
3 Lucas
exploration.
Hospital
Let's go into add-ons, settings, and let's demonstrate the third possibility,
settings window, voice button, volume, communicate, weather button, sound scheme editor button,
which is the sound scheme editor.
sound scheme editor dialog, sound schemes combo box default music only, modified collapsed,
So this is the place where we could create a whole new custom scheme from scratch if we wanted to. Here we can't see the default schemes that are supplied with the program in their default state, but we can see one scheme here.
sound schemes combo box default music only, modified focused collapsed,
That is the default music only modified scheme, because the previous changes we made with Alt X to the default scheme, where we first changed the music for France and then we changed the radio, or specified a radio station to be played in France, that dialog, that Alt X window, makes actual modifications to the currently active scheme that do persist. But it never changes the actual default scheme, so it always creates a new one with the modifications that we made, and it saves it. That's as to always keep the default scheme unchanged, unmodified. These modifications or these new schemes that we create here are always saved only to our users data folder into the schemes subfolder, so that we can always rely on the default scheme remaining the same if we want to revert back to it. So I would just press Alt Z or Alt Y respectively at any time, and I could easily just revert back to the original default scheme without any modifications. But now if I press Tab in this window, we can see that
new
we
scheme button,
can create a new scheme here,
edit scheme button,
or we can edit
remove scheme button,
or remove the currently selected one, which currently is only the default music one, but modified with our modifications.
close button, sound schemes combo box default music only, modified collapsed,
So let's now demonstrate
new scheme button,
how to create an all-new scheme.
new scheme dialog, name edit blank,
So let's type in its name. Let's type in test, for example.
test,
And now we can see two fields
See
here.
music edit blank. Change button. See stream edit blank. Change button. Default music edit blank. Change button. Default stream edit blank. Change button.
We have to specify the so-called default music or stream, meaning this is what's going to play in any country that doesn't have a specific music or radio station assigned, meaning that the default music could easily be used like in over 100 countries. So in any cases where you have not specifically set a custom track. So the default music has to be specified mandatorily in every scheme, and the same goes for the C.
Change. See stream. Change. See music edit blank.
C music.
Change button.
Or
See stream edit blank.
C stream. We could play a radio station if we wanted to. We could, in theory, specify both a music track for the C or the default music and also a radio station, but in that case, the music always has priority. We can't have both a music track and a radio station playing at the same time. So the music is always preferred if we do that. That's why it's not, necessary or even useful in any way to actually specify both of them.
Change button. See music edit blank.
So let's press the change button.
Change button.
At the See Music field. We always have to do it like that, using this respective button.
Music selection dialog. Available files combo box 0 default.og collapsed.
And since we pressed the change button for the music field and not the radio field, that's why we can't see any radio stations here at the moment, but we can only see the actual music files that are available, like I was saying before, in both locations, in the main program folder as well as the countries subfolder in our users data folder, combined into one single list.
0ocean.og.
So let's just select this ocean file here.
See music edit.
This is the one that's also supplied in the default scheme and that always plays when you are flying or moving on the map over a sea. So if I now press Shift Tab,
See music edit C0ocean.og.
we can see that the change has already been saved into the scheme, that the C music has been changed. Now if I press Tab to move on,
Change button. See stream edit blank.
there's the C stream,
Change
so
button.
we will not be specifying that at the moment because we decided to use music instead.
Default music edit blank.
And here are the fields for either the default
Change button.
music
Default stream edit.
or the default stream.
Change. Default.
Like I was saying, the default music is what's going to play for any country where you have not specified any custom music or radio. So if we created a scheme and used it with only the default and C music specified, no other music would play in any other countries because no other countries have any music associated. But like I was also saying, both the default music or stream and the C music or stream are mandatory. These have to be specified in a scheme, at least these two, otherwise the editor won't even allow us to save the scheme. It'll complain about either the default or C music or stream missing. So the basic idea of the scheme editor or of creating a new scheme is that you assign specific music or radio stations to specific countries, only to the countries where you would like that to play. And if such a track is not found for a certain country when we enter it, either in flight or in the world map exploration mode, it's just going to use the default music or stream. So let's try to
Change button.
set the default music here.
Music selection dialog. Available files combo box 0 default.og collapsed. 0ocean. A blues just for you.mp3.
Let's also use the Blues Just For You track that I was using in part 5 before, where I was talking about the additional features of world map exploration. I still have that file here.
Default music edit. A blues just for you.mp3.
We see that it's been applied when I just pressed enter. Now let's move to the third
Change
part,
button.
or to the next part
Default stream edit blank. Change button.
of the window.
Tree view.
That is a tree view, where if I press the arrow keys in here,
Default a blues just for you.mp3. 333. Collapsed.
we can see just a single item here, a single branch that's currently collapsed. It's the default music. We hear that it uses the Blues Just For You track, just like we specified. And we can see that it's associated currently to 333 countries. That's a lot. Now if I expand that,
Expanded. Ayman. Abu Zayabai. Afghanistan.
and arrow down,
Al Fujera. Alabama. Allendale, Alaska.
we can see all of them listed here.
Default A blues just for you.mp3, 333, expanded. Collapsed.
So this track will play for all these countries. So if I now press tab one more time,
Add music button.
there's the Add Music button. And it is important to realize that the design philosophy of Eurofly 3 is such where we first select the music file and only then we select the countries to associate to that file. That's how we create a new scheme and not the other way around. Because in that case, we would have to manually assign a music track or radio station to each country, and that's what we want to avoid. That's why we always choose the music track or radio station first, and only then we assign the respective countries that should be associated with that. So I'm going to press the Add Music button.
Music selection dialog. Select a country combo box. Afghanistan collapsed.
We are in a list that's called Select a Country.
All on islands. Afghanistan. All Albania, Algeria, America, and Antigua and
We
Barbuda.
can again see
Select button.
all of them
Enter station name edit.
listed here, but that is meant to
All on Algeria, Andorra, Angola,
be
Anguilla.
used as the filter for the available radios to choose from. We are still choosing a music track or radio station. We are not selecting the country where it's going to be playing.
Antarctica, Argentina,
We can just filter
Armenia, Australia.
the list of radio stations that will be offered to us to select from in this case. The first list is just a filter for radio stations.
Enter station name edit blank. Cancel button. Enter station.
Or we could just search for one. Press enter.
Search results for Australia. 26. Combo box 3 ABN Australia radio collapsed. ABC Radio Australia. ABC Radio Australia. Alkarma TV. ABC.
We could select one here, so let's choose this one, for example.
Tree view. Default A blues just for you.mp3.
Now, if I get back to the scheme window, to the tree view with the music that we have already specified, we can now see that there are two items here. The default
Default A blues just for you.mp3.
which
333.
is just for you
Collapsed.
with 333 associated items.
ABC Radio Australia 202207010.
And the ABC radio, which is assigned to Australia. And since it's not a branch, it's associated to just a single country. That's why it's just a static item and we cannot really expand it. It doesn't have any sub-countries or sub-items within.
Add music button. Music.
But to finish describing the
Select a country. Afghan.
Add Music dialog,
Enter station. Cancel button. Available files. Combo box 0 default.og collapsed.
we may not select the radio if we don't want to, but we can just keep tabbing to this next list, available files,
A blues just for you.mp3.
and we could select,
Filter edit blank.
for example, a Blues Just For You in here. There's also the filter for the available music files, which is also a good thing because there can also be a lot of them,
Select button.
and the select button.
Available files. Combo box A blues just for you.mp3.
So we can either press the select button or just enter on the track that we selected, that we want to use.
Tree view.
And we are now
Default
back in the
English just-
tree view, so we can see
ABC Radio Australia.
that it
ABC
says
Radio Australia 202207010.
0 at the end. That's because there are no countries associated with that music or track or radio station. So now back in the main window of the sound scheme editor,
Add music button.
if I press tab past the add music button,
Remove music button.
we can remove it,
Edit countries button.
or we can edit
Save button.
the countries that are associated with that music. So if I do that,
Editing countries for music ABC Radio Australia
we are
2022.
now editing the countries for music ABC radio. There's a list,
Assigned countries. Combo box focus collapsed.
which is currently empty because it says assigned countries. We haven't assigned any countries yet to this particular radio station. Now if I press tab,
The whole continent. Combo box Africa collapsed.
we can either choose the whole continent,
Antarctica. Asia. Australia and Oceania.
which I will choose Australia and Oceania with the arrow keys, or if I press tab
Add button.
once more, we can add that,
The whole country. Combo box Australia collapsed.
or the whole country.
Canada. United Arab Emirates. United Kingdom. Australia.
So we could just specify a single country on a continent if we wanted to, or multiple countries in a continent like a USA, but not the entire continent. That field, the entire continent, is there just to make the process easier for us.
Add button. Available countries. 333. Combo box Ayman collapsed.
Or we could just select the available countries manually here from the entire huge list of 333 countries.
Filter edit blank.
We can also filter them here.
Add button.
Of course.
OK button. The whole continent combo box Australia and Oceania collapsed.
Yeah, the whole continent, Australia and Oceania.
The whole country combo box Australia collapsed. Add button. Available countries. Add the whole continent add button.
Press the add button.
No item selected. The whole continent combo box Australia and Oceania.
We don't have any items selected.
Europe. Asia.
Because
Antarctica. Africa. Australia and Oceania.
It's not enough to just stand with the arrow keys with the cursor on the country. We also, or on the continent in this case, we also have to check the ones that we actually want to use for this music. So I could select, I could select whole continent.
Asia. Australia.
But I don't have to do just Australia. I can tick that with a spacebar. But
Europe.
I could do also Europe, for example. Now, when I browse the list of continents,
Africa.
We can see that Africa is not checked.
Antarctica.
Antarctica is not checked either.
Asia.
Asia not.
Australia and Oceania.
Checked either, but Australia and Oceania is.
Europe.
Europe is.
North America.
North America is not checked.
South America.
South America is not checked.
Add button.
So now if I press the add button,
the whole continent combo box Africa collapsed.
It's going to assign that track to both Australia and Europe, to the whole continents.
Add button. The whole add button. Available. Filter edit blank. Add button.
I could
OK button.
Also do more changes or assignments at once in the same window if I wanted to, or I can just leave it, close it with the OK button,
Tree view,
and get back to the main window of the sound scheme editor.
Default table is just for you.
We can see in this tree view.
Default table is just for you. .mp3 333 collapsed.
Default music, which is assigned to 333
ABC Radio Australia 202207012 collapsed.
And the ABC Radio Australia has now 2 items associated with it, where we can expand this and see that it's assigned to
the whole continent Europe,
the whole continent of Europe,
the whole continent Australia and Oceania,
and the whole continent of Australia and Oceania.
The ABC Radio collapsed. Add music button.
We can add more music.
Remove music button.
We can remove this music.
Edit countries button.
Or we can edit the countries again. Or we can now save the scheme if we're happy with it.
Save as new button.
We can save as new, meaning that we could, for example, we can first save the scheme, then select it again, this test scheme in the editor to use it as the starting point. We could make some adjustments to that, so we could still keep the default music and we could keep what's already there, but we could assign like a radio station to the US, for example, and then we would do save as new. So that's a faster way to create a new scheme from an already existing one.
Cancel button. Tree view. Add music button.
So let's now add new music.
Add music button. Music selection dialog.
Let's say
Angola, Czech Republic.
That I'm
enter
going
station name edit. Cancel button. Available files combo box 0 default.og collapsed. Enter station. Select button. Enter station. Select a country combo box Czech Republic.
I'm going to choose the Czech Republic.
Stations in country Czech Republic.
For this.
LA Radio plus on C. RFE. RFE. Filter edit. Stations in country Czech Republic. 247. Combo box Radio Blanik collapsed. Tree view.
Now we can see that
Radio Blanik 0.
This radio has been added to our tree view of the music that is currently existing in the scheme, but it has no countries associated with it. So
add music, remove music, edit countries button.
Let me
editing countries for music radio Blanik.
Editing countries for music radio Blanik for the Czech radio.
The whole assigned countries combo box collapsed.
No assigned countries at the moment. And let me do
the whole country combo box add button. Available countries, 333. Combo.
The available countries.
Abu Dhabi.
I'm going to
Slovakia.
check, for example, Slovakia. I can just use first ladder navigation even in this list to quickly get to the desired country.
Hungary.
Hungary.
Poland.
And Poland for this radio.
Filter edit blank. Add button. OK button. Add button. Available countries. 300.
I'm going to press add.
Add button. The add button. The remove. Assign. Cancel. OK button. Cancel. Assigned countries combo box Hungary collapsed.
We see that we've assigned Hungary, Poland, and Slovakia to this radio station.
OK button.
So now I'm going to press the OK button.
Tree view. Default table is
and
just
our tree view of the music in the scheme.
ABC Radio Australia.
We have
Radio Blanik 3 collapsed.
Radio Blanik with 3 items collapsed.
Expanded.
When we expanded,
Hungary.
It has Hungary, Poland,
Slovakia,
and Slovakia associated with it.
Collapsed. Add music button.
Let's add one more. For instance, this time
available files combo box.
From the available files,
0 Ocean, Bulgaria.org, Fiji. France.org,
let's select the France file.
tree view, France.org, 0.
And again, it's been added to the schema music, but it has no countries associated with it.
Edit countries button.
So
Editing.
let's do edit countries.
The whole add button. Available countries. Filter edit.
Available
Falkland
countries.
Island. Faroe Island. Fiji. Florida. Finland. French Guyana. French Polynesia.
And
French
let's
Southern and
check
Antarctic. Gabon.
all these 4 French territories for it.
Qatar. Quebec.
Let's also do Quebec, just because we can.
Filter edit blank. Add button.
Add.
Available countries. 325. Add button. The whole add button. The whole remove assigned countries
We can
combo box.
see
France collapsed.
France,
French Guyana. French Polynesia.
French Guyana,
French Southern and Antarctic
Polynesia,
territories.
French Southern Antarctic territories,
Quebec.
and Quebec
OK button.
assigned to this track.
Tree view.
And now, when I press the OK button, it's in the tree view of our scheme.
Default A blues just for you. ABC Radio Blanik. France.org. 5. Collapsed.
It's assigned to 5
Expand.
territories.
France. French Guyana. French Polynesia. French Southern and Antarctic territories. Quebec. Collapsed.
Let's also demonstrate
Add remove music button.
removing the music. So if I wanted to do that, I press space.
Notification dialog. This music is associated with countries. There are 5 of them. Do you want to continue? Any button Alt plus N.
It's asking us whether we want to continue, whether we actually want to remove this whole music from the scheme, because it's currently associated to 5 different countries. So we would need to confirm the removal first. I'm going to press no
Settings window.
now, because obviously I don't want to do that. I want to demonstrate this scheme in practice. You may
Edit countries
be
button.
wondering,
Save button. Save as new. Cancel. Name edit.
there's no remove countries button.
See music edit. See 0 Ocean. See stream edit
Or
blank.
anything.
Default music. Change. Default stream. Change. Tree view. France.org.
Anything of the
5.
sort. So you don't do that with like a simple delete or anything like that you might be expecting. But the way you remove a particular country from a particular music track, the way you remove the association between them
Remove edit countries
is
button.
by going into edit countries again.
Editing countries for music. France.org. 5. Dialog. Assign countries combo box. France collapsed. French Guyana. France. Remove button.
And we have to press the remove button
The whole continent combo box.
for either of them.
Add button. The whole country combo box. Australia.
We could also assign other countries to the same music in the process if we wanted
Add
to.
button. The whole continent combo
if
box.
I
And
wanted
Africa
to-
and Asia. Assign countries. Quebec.
Remove Quebec, for instance.
Remove button.
I need to press the remove button.
No item selected. Assign countries combo box. Quebec collapsed.
And again,
French.
just like with any other country operation or with any other assignment of a country to music, we need to select these countries that we want to remove from the track, from the music, with the spacebar.
French Southern and Antarctic territories. French Polynesia.
So I could select,
Remove button.
let's say 3 of them, press the remove button, and then
Assign countries combo box. France collapsed.
we only have
French Guyana.
France and French Guyana.
Cancel.
here.
OK button.
We can press the OK button to save the change.
Remove button.
But
The whole continent. The whole add button. Filter edit. Available country. Falkland Islands. Faroe Island. Fiji. Finland. Florida. French Southern and French Polynesia.
let's add them back.
Florida. French Southern and Antarctic territory.
We see that it's not offering us
Gabon.
the ones,
Qatar.
the territories that are already
Filter edit blank. Add button. Available countries.
assigned
Add button. OK. Cancel. Assign country.
to the
France.
music, so that we wouldn't be adding them twice. We wouldn't be duplicating them.
France. French Guyana. French Polynesia. French Southern and Antarctic territories. Quebec.
So it's back to what we had it before, back to what we wanted.
OK button.
Let's
Tree
press
view.
the OK button,
Add. Remove. Edit. Save button.
and let's press save.
New scheme button.
We are now back in the main sound scheme editor window.
Sound schemes combo box.
And if I press Shift Tab to get back to sound schemes, we can see
Default music only.
that
Modified.
there's the modified version of the
Test. Default
music only scheme.
New scheme. Edit scheme button. Remove scheme button.
I don't want to use that scheme anymore. I prefer the default to be the default that it is.
Sound scheme removal confirmation dialog. Do you really want to remove the sound scheme default music only? Modified. Any button alt plus no.
Yes.
Settings window. Sound scheme editor dialog. Sound schemes combo box test collapsed.
And now there's just our test scheme here in the editor.
New remove close button. Tab control. General tab selected.
We
sound
can
scheme
close
editor button.
it. We're back in settings. And let's now get back to world map exploration and show off this scheme in practice. Settings.
3 Lucas.
Add about add speak pro world map.
Eurofly 3 window. Slovakia.
We can see that we are Slovakia, and the default scheme is being used. But if I press Alt-Z,
Sound schemes combo box default music only collapsed.
there's the default music only.
Test.
And there's our test scheme. So let's press enter on that to activate it.
Eurofly 3 window.
And now it's playing the Blanik radio that we've assigned to Slovakia in our scheme.
Combo box Slovakia brought. Filter edit blank. Combo box Hungary Budapest. Eurofly.
Let's move to Hungary. And it still plays the same radio because we have also assigned that radio to Hungary.
Combo box. Filter edit blank. Combo box state of Western Australia Perth. 13,027 kilometers 100 in
Australia and Oceania.
Eurofly 3 window.
Let's get to Australia, but that radio unfortunately doesn't seem to be working.
Sound scheme. Now playing scheme edit test / ABC Radio Australia 202200701. Eurofly.
So that's why we hear silence. But like I was saying before, in part 5 of this tutorial series, this is actually not the fault of Eurofly, or, well, it is if we updated the database of active streams that are available, but this is rather the fault of the radio stream itself because it doesn't work.
Combo. Filter
If
edit
I
blank.
move to
R. Combo box France Paris. Euro.
France, we can hear the music for France. As expected,
Combo.
the same if we move to
Combo box Quebec City. 5.
North
Eurofly 3
America.
window.
Quebec, because that's also assigned to France.
Combo box. Filter edit blank.
Let's now move
Combo box United States of America Washington. 7.
North America.
And since this is the default music and there's no other association there, or rather Washington or the US doesn't have any specific music associated with it, that's why we can now hear the default music, the track called "The Blues Just For You," along with my stupid neighbors drilling next door, because apparently they had to decide to start renovating just as I'm recording these tutorials, which unfortunately I can't really avoid, or it's something that I can't do anything about at this point. I hope you're still going to be able to appreciate this music for what it is, even despite the distraction. So that's basically it for the sound schemes, for the sound scheme editor. There's one more thing worth mentioning though, and that is that you can, since these schemes, as I was saying before, are stored in your user's data folder in the schemes subfolder, that easily allows you to share them with anyone else who may be interested, with other Eurofly 3 players and pilots, to just send them to other people to have the same fun that you have. And this could also eventually lead in the future to there being a pretty nice and impressive collections of different sound schemes on the Eurofly 3 website that could, for example, have different genres, or could be topical, you know, for like contain national anthems or modern music from the given country, etc., etc. So the possibilities with the sound schemes are virtually boundless, and I hope that the ability to change the music that you hear while flying or while moving around the map to your heart's content is going to make your map exploration or your flights in Eurofly 3 all the more pleasant.